For those who are joining us for the first time, my name's Katie, and we are going to be sewing the Sandhill Sling bag over the next 4 weeks. If you haven't received your kit or your pattern yet, don't stress. All of these videos are going to be saved, and you'll be able to re-watch them and watch them again at your leisure. You can pause. If you have a YouTube account, you're able to make a comment. Reach out to us, let us know if you're stuck on any steps. We're happy to help. That's why we're here. So we're going to dive right in tonight. The way I like to sew bags is not necessarily the way that they're laid out in the directions. So we're not going to follow steps 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. Today, what we're going to be doing is steps 1, 2, and then 9, A, and B. And the reason that we're going to do this is that it'll allow us to not lose our strap connector pieces. And then you feel like you've accomplished something. You've got the back of the strap button together. So you will start by cutting out all of your pieces. And I haven't cut out all of mine. I've cut out most of mine. What I want to do is show everybody. Sorry, hang on a second. Hello, people are saying hello. I love it. It's my favorite. Is the zipper pocket bottom. So the zipper pocket bottom is going to, I wish I should have brought the sample home from the shop. We're sewing the zipper pocket version because it's easier to source zippers than snaps. The zipper pocket bottom, which is this part here, is what's going to be visible on the front of your bag. And I have this really lovely Florida canvas that we have in this shop with the alligators on it. And I want to show everybody how you, hey everybody, how you would mark a piece of fabric so that you could center the pattern. Because what you're going to get, I did the same with my interior pocket so that it looks like that. You've got a centered pattern. And no, this was not a kit that was available at the time that we did this. So if you're going, why didn't I get that one? That's why. And hopefully, I think we've been waiting on hardware, and I think the hardware has arrived. So what's, let me backtrack for 1 second. There are these lovely little pieces of paper included in your kit that have the name of the pattern piece as well as the size and what you need to cut them out. If you need to cut them out of your exterior fabric, your interior fabric, and your interfacing. And so you can cut these out, and I like to attach them to my pieces with Wonder Clips, and that way it keeps everything nicely in place. You do have 2 different kinds of interfacing in this kit. We found that using the heavier weight interfacing for the back panel, as well as the bottom gusset with the outside fabric, gives it just a little bit more structure and stability in your bag. Everything else you'll cut out of that SF101 interfacing. So I'm going to, what will be helpful for you to have, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move my sewing machine off my desk for a second. What will be helpful for you to have is a ruler and a marking pencil for these steps. I'm going to just shift this down. Hopefully that works. Okay, and so you can see there's this repeated motif of these alligators as well as the flowers. And what I want to do in one of these motifs is find the center. And then after we do this, I'll show you the way you can do this in Cheat. So I'm going to measure from the tips of their noses, and I'm going to flip my ruler around. And it looks like it's 7 inches and 7 1/8 inches. So I'm actually just gonna like eyeball it so that it's like very nearly 7 inches. And that would mean 3.5 is my center. So there, and I don't know if you can see the mark, but I've made it in white. I can see it. There's my mark to mark my center. And then I need to measure the up and down the center as well. So from the bottom of their claws, let's go with to the top of this leaf is just about 6 inches. So 3 is going to be my divided evenly. So what that means is, let's see if I can get, sorry, I'm going to get a different mark implement. Here we go. Just about where there's my center here. There's my center there. So the very center of my design is right where I've made this blue cross. Now, we need to cut this piece to be 8 inches wide and 9.5 inches tall, which means we want to center this, where the center, we want 4 inches. So you'll get 8 and 8, and that looks about right. I'm going to go with shift it a little bit. 8 there. Because you can see that's like 1/2 inch from their mouths. Yeah, I guess that's about 1/2 inch from their mouths. Okay. Right there is closer to my center. And then 9.5 inches tall. So I'm going to mark here. And in the center of this, so 9.5 inches. This is so much math in sewing. Would be 9 inches would be 4.5. So 4 3/4 inches. So, and this is nice about these rulers, do have the half mark. So 4 3/4 inches would be just down here. I'm going to do the same from up here. 4 3/4 inches. And that gives me then roughly the parameters of what I need to cut out to make sure that that alligator motif is centered on the bag. Now, the other way that you can do this, the cheating way, is this, and this will yell at my family. I need whoever is streaming up there to not be on the internet, please. Okay, sorry about that. I am going to, hopefully we're okay, and I'm going to make them get off the internet. So what you can do is you can get a piece of paper, get a piece of pattern trace, get a scrap piece of fabric. I'm back. Did you get me back? I think you lost me there for a minute, and that was because my kids are taking up all of my bandwidth. So fold it in half, because you need to cut another piece this size. Fold it in half again. That will give you your center, and you can make sure that you've lined it up as well with the marks you made on the bottom and the sides. I did something wrong here because this says 9.5 inches tall. Is this 9.5 inches tall? This says 9.5 inches tall. Is this 9.5 inches tall? No, this is only 9 inches tall. That's not going to do me any good. Okay, hang on a second. We're going to cut a new piece and you're going to see how to do this the cheating way. Like I said, gosh darn it. And I don't have enough of this to do it again because I was using some scrap stuff. Okay. We'll do the waves. Sorry, this piece is supposed to be 9.5 inches tall by 8 inches wide. So we're going to cut. And did I lose my rotary cutter? I did. There we go. 8 inches is there. And 9.5 is right there. There we go. And if these pieces aren't perfect, if any of these pieces aren't perfect, it's not a worry because you can just make a smaller seam allowance. Okay, so sorry. Back to this. Fold your piece in half. Fold your piece in half again, and you can line it up with the edges you made. Though this is, yeah, this should be right. So there we go. So we're looking at there, which brings me to all of these pieces. And then what you can do once you've done this is just cut up around this. This is fussy cutting, and it's a lot more wasteful of fabric than just cutting, but especially on a piece like this where you want to show off that motif, this is how you do it. And so you should have more than enough extra on any of your pieces. I'm not sure if there's any fabrics in the kits that require this. If we get one of these, it will. But you can see there's my alligators. And this looks like it's a little bit warped, but they're centered enough for me. So I do have some other pieces that I have to cut out of this. I have, like I said, I haven't cut all my pieces, but we're not going to actually use these pieces tonight. What we're going to, we are going to need to interface some things though. So I'm just going to put these aside. What we are going to sew now is, I have to move this. We're going to put the sewing machine back up on the desk, and this, and my lovely little iron. Because we are going to need to interface. I'm going to plug this in, get it nice and hot. I do recommend, if you're, whoo, I've almost fell off my chair. And there's that. No, come on. There we go. If you're sewing this after you've watched it with me, interface all your pieces at the same time. It just makes it easier. Then you'll have everything done. But for right now, what I'm going to interface is just the, oh, I need to cut out, I knew there was something else. I need to cut out the shoulder connector. The shoulder connector is a pattern piece in here. I've just traced mine out of, I have to find it. There it is. And this is in my back. My other thing. It's been a minute since I did one of these, and apparently I'm all discombobulated. Okay, here we go. I think I need that length there and that length there. So I'm going to cut it out from here. This is your shoulder connector piece. You will have cut this out from the piece of, oh, don't tell me that's not long enough. That's the reason. You will have cut this out of the pattern piece included with your pattern on the piece of paper, or you can trace it off if you've got tracing paper, or wax paper will work, parchment paper. Okay, and you're going to need 2 of these. So there's one. And here's the second one. Oh, I get an alligator face on this one. That's good. I like the alligators. They make me happy. So you don't need your zippers tonight. You will need the other hardware. What we're going to need is these shoulder connector pieces. We're going to need all of our hardware. We're going to need the D-ring, the swivel hook, and the D-ring, the swivel hook, and the slider. You're going to need your webbing. You're going to need your strap connector, and we're going to need our main back panel. And this is the one that you're going to want to interface in that heavier weight. It's decor bond interfacing. So I'm going to start by, I can smell my iron is nice and hot. And folks, if I've missed any of your questions, just, oh, there we go. Live chat. There we go. Ha ha ha. Sorry, I'm back. All good. I have to make it live. You cut out using pattern trace so you can see through, mark middle and match to the pattern middle, or more to remove. Yeah, exactly. Pattern trace is great for that. There's also a product called, oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's a clear plastic. Quilters use it. I've had some before. So I'm going to start by interfacing one of my snap connectors, one of my strap connectors. And I'm just going to, and if I've missed any of your questions, sorry, my comment to myself or to you was, if I've missed any of your questions, just let me know, repeat them at me. Sorry about that. So there we go. This guy is interfaced. So that's that. This is the back. And we're again using that heavier weight interfacing. And you can see I didn't really care about the placement on this piece. It's the alligators are off to the side. I did find that this interfacing didn't adhere as well, as nicely as the other stuff. And it's possible that it needs higher heat than what this little iron is going to give it. So we'll just do our best. And if I need to iron it a second time, that's fine too. And worst case scenario is you baste your interfacing on, which is also possible. And I am entirely one of those bad people that like turn this around and interface it from the front too, because I feel like it works better. Also, the wool pressing mat is really great for helping to retain the heat and making the interfacing stick better. Oh my God, I love this iron. Like, I really, really, really love this iron. Everyone should have one of these irons. They're fantastic. Okay, so there's my back piece. And then the interfacing for the strap holder, you cut. Oh, we're only supposed to have one of these pieces. That's fine. So I don't need that. And center so that it's not in the seam allowances. And it helps to reduce the bulk because this piece is slightly bulky. The start of a new project is also always a good time to do a little bit of read your instructions so you you know whether your machine takes oil or not, because there's more modern machines that don't. And then you can give yourself a new needle. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold the strap folder in half, wrong sides together, matching the 2.5 inch side, which is this side. So we're going to fold it like so, and you can just press it with your fingers. Fold in half again and press strap holder, and it'll be 1 inch wide. Open and press raw edges, to the center crease. Sorry, I did that wrong. I did it wrong the first time. So like this. There we go. And then fold it in half again, and that will be 1 inch wide. And you can double check your work. I've got this little mat over here. It's 1 inch wide. I'm going to press it with the iron just so it stays nicely. And what we're going to do, I'll bring it over to my machine, which is threaded, is we're going to top stitch. I'm going to lengthen my stitch to 3.5 and top stitch at 1/8 of an inch on both sides. And I have my scissors here somewhere. I feel like they're there. Tonight's a mess. I'm really sorry, folks. Maybe it's the weather that's throwing me off. I don't know. So you can see how small this piece is. It would be really likely to lose it, which is why I'm recommending that we attach everything to where it's going to go. Oh, you don't like that. Sorry, my machine did not like what I just did. So we're going to seam rip that. And we're going to try again. This bobbin also like wound funny, so I have a feeling at some point I'm going to encounter a needing to wind a new bobbin on this project. So you can add more rows of top stitching as you desire. And I should mention, so these kits only come with one of these strap holders. If you want to, I'm going to leave it like that. If you want to add an additional one so that you have one on each of the sides of the bag, that'll give you the option of threading your, of connecting your strap to either the left side or the right side, depending on the side that you hold it on. We're going to take our D-ring. We're going to thread this through the D-ring. And then we're going to baste these ends together. And if you've watched my videos, you know how much I dislike basting, but this is one of those times where basting is going to be a necessity, and we're just going to do it. I'm going to reduce my stitch length back down to what is normal for my machine. And there you have your strap connector. So just put that to the side for now. We're going to need it again. Now we're going to make the shoulder connector. So you're going, oh shoot. Okay. Yes. Okay. We're going to, I'm going to change thread because I don't like the way the gray, this would be the time to change your thread. That's the one of the other reasons I end up changing. Oh, ooh, that's not good. That was thread caught in my machine. One of the reasons I change around the way that patterns are made sometimes is it reduces the number of times I have to change thread. So I have, and some people don't, so I have matching thread, and some people don't care when they're sewing and they will sew with one color of thread. But for me, I really want matching thread. So we've now got matching thread. If you're using, these are 30 millimeters. If you're using, these are 30 millimeters wide, which is roughly 1.25 inches. It's closer to 1.3. They're a little bit wider than that 1.5 inch buckle, but they're not so wide that they're going to be like sliding around all over the place. You're supposed to finish one of these edges. I've done mine. I should have done mine with a zigzag stitch right now. So I've never done this before. It's just going to keep your end from fraying when you thread it through the slider. You can see on the slider, maybe you can't. One of the sides has like the bend over of the metal. That's the back side. So, oh, where did I lose it there? No, that's it. So we are going to thread it through. Oh, let me do this right here. How am I doing this? I'm doing this entirely wrong. Over. There we go. Sorry. Spatial awareness. Through, over the bar, and then back under. And then you want to sew it in place 2 inches from the strap slider. So this is where having a seam gauge or a small ruler is going to be helpful, because that's going to let you measure that 2 inches. And this does not have to be exact. There we go. And then you're going to baste this into place. Sorry, you want to baste this. Sorry, you're going to sew this into place. Some people may want to baste it if they're particularly tall and feel like they're going to need to adjust it later on. Or short, I guess. Excellent. For me, I know that it's fine. And then we're going to take the remaining end and we're going to thread it through the swivel hook and then back up through. Did I do this right? No, I've got the swivel hook on the inside. Sorry. Here is my, okay. This is what the pictures help. This is the wrong side. So we're going to thread the swivel hook through here because we want it on the outside of this strap. We want to make sure the strap is not twisted, and then back up and over the center bar. There we go. So that it's you can thread this through. And that way your sewing is on the inside. And this is now a complete strap. Now, with these, this, we may have to fiddle around with this a little bit. And I'm going to change my thread again because I want my gray thread. And does anybody feel like they want me to do that strap slider movement again? Let me know. I will. It's easy to undo at this point because the end is free. So let me know and I can undo it and show it again. Oh my goodness. Let me see. I'm just going to push the chat button. Live chat. Which pieces did you use for the heavier stuff on? Sorry, I missed that. Sorry. The heavier weight interfacing is on the back main panel and the back bottom gusset. And that just gives it a little bit more stability. So once again, when you're, I'm just going to do this quickly here. When you're threading this, have your piece with the sewn edge facing up. Thread your swivel hook. Woo! Thread your swivel hook onto this piece, and then you're going to take the end, bring it back up. Back up and over the central bar, and that's going to give you, and then your sewing is on the inside, and that's going to allow you to thread and adjust this. So we're going to take one of the shoulder connector pieces. It doesn't matter if it's the interfaced or not, and we're going to fold it in half so we can find the center. And we're going to baste this in the middle of it. When I did this the first time, I skipped the basting, and I would not skip the basting in the future. So I recommend don't skip the basting at this point. And then we're going to take the other one, lay it on top. Wonder clips are very handy at this point. And we're going to sew all the way around the outside. What you might find if your webbing is not the 1.5 inch webbing is that you need to angle a little bit closer to the strap here. So your seam allowance is going to end up being larger than that and the seam allowance on everything is 1/2 inch unless otherwise stated. So, and we're going to leave the bottom part of this open. So here we go. And remember to keep your foot down when you're pivoting. then before we're also going to put some so this is a point, this point right here is where there's going to be a lot of stress on the bag, because this is where you're going to be holding the top of the bag from. So we're going to put some reinforcement stitching in here in the seam allowance. But before I do that, I'm just going to quickly flip this up and see if I like, yeah, and it's not too bad in terms of, you can see it's almost exactly there. So I'm not going to worry about angling in much more. I am going to do some reinforcement stitching here. So at like 3/8 of an inch. And probably again at 1/4 inch. And I've just gone back and forth. There we go. So you can see, oh, look on that side. You can see all the extra lines of stitching, and that's going to help keep that in place. This says to clip the corners. I'm going to use my pinking shears because I have them. And that will also help to reduce the bulk of this. We're going to turn it around. If you've got a point turner, you can use it to flatten out your seam allowances. And give this a nice press as well. Hey, look, I got a little alligator face peeking out at my shoulder. Yeah, that's a little crooked, but I think it's okay. Oh, what did somebody say? How do I find that? The angle in if needed. That's just to get the strap connector to close to the strap if your strap is smaller or large. Yeah, so this, if your straps won't, in some of the straps in the kits that we had were not 1.5 inches. They were 30 millimeters, which is closer to 1.25 inches. So the angle in is just to correct that, because otherwise this piece is designed to be with the seam allowances enough to have it connecting seamlessly through the 1.5 inches. So if your strap is small, if your strap is larger, what would end up happening is you'd end up sewing over your strap and your strap would buckle. So you really do want to make sure that you've got the correct size of strapping. But the difference between the 30 millimeters and the 1.5 inches is not huge. And so that's why we ended up going with that. Is this going to drive me nuts that it's not quite straight? No, it's fine. Does that answer your question? Hopefully. So we're going to skip ahead to step number, no, actually we have to do one thing first. I forgot. We have to do part of step 6, which is to make your corners round on all of the main panels, because that's going to impact the sewing of this. And nothing is where it should be. So I've traced mine off on cardboard to make it stronger. what you're going to do is you're going to round your panels. So, sorry, you want it like so. So line it up with the edges. And then we're just going to take the rotary cutter and go, and that takes care of that. So we do all 4 here. And we are, for people who are going, we're almost done for today. And you line the, you round the top and the bottom. That's what gives this bag that nice little appearance. And my interfacing is slightly larger than my back panel, so I'm just going to trim that as well. Excellent. Okay. I have a garbage can under here. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to baste these straps onto the back. So we're going to go to 9A. We're going to do 9A and B. I'm going to baste mine on the left side. I'm right-handed. That's where I wear my bag. But if you wanted to, you could make 2 of these. You would have to get another D-ring, and you could put 2 on. It's simple to do. I've lost my pen for marking, so I'm going to get another one because I have lots of them. So we're going to baste this in 1 1/4 inches from the edge. No. And that's from like roughly where the curve starts. And from the outside edge of this strap. So right there. And I'm not actually going to, I was going to mark it, but I'm actually just going to pin it into place. So we're going to baste that. And then we're going to baste the, so we're going to fold this in half, mark the center. And you want your buckle facing up and out. So we're going to fold this in half as well to find the center. Actually, we don't need a marking pencil at all. And we're going to baste that along the top. And I feel like I've lost my center on this piece. So I'm going to just do it one more time. Fold it in half. There's the center. There's the center. There we go. And we baste at 1/4 inch. When you baste, you do not need to backstitch. This is another part that you could conceivably put reinforcement stitches into, but you don't entirely need to. And we're going to baste this side as well. And that gives you there, ta-da! Can I show this? So your piece, you've got a back piece with your D-ring and your snap connector, and this is all together. Now, I'm going to just bring this up here for a second. Oh, and it's going to do that thing where it falls. There. Okay, so what we are going to do. So this is it for this week. So for next week, make sure that you have all of your pieces cut out. Anything that's interface is that needs to be interfaced is supposed to be interfaced. And what we're going to do is we're going to put together the lining of the bag. So we're going to do the interior pocket, and we're going to put that gusset on and prep the lining of the bag. So that way, when it comes time to doing the outside of the bag, the lining's already done. And you will feel super accomplished because you have you've made a lining. So there will be more if you're feeling like you missed out and you want to grab another kit. There will be more kits available hopefully by tomorrow. We've received extra patterns tonight, so there will be patterns, and there are some additional hardware kits as well that are coming in. And other than that, let me know quickly if anybody has any questions. Other than that, I'm going to go feed my hungry children dinner, and we will see you folks next Monday at the same time. Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye.